Hello, I'm Valerie McLennan. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be. I hope you're well. This is my spiritual channel, Valerie Mac, Scottish, spiritual, and very funny, allegedly. Now, if you've been following me a while, thank you very much for being on my journey through life. If you're a new listener, thanking you. I hope you enjoy and can ask you to please revert back and listen to my previous podcasts. You may find them enjoyable. They're full of wisdom. There, it's a clue in the title. Full of wisdom. You will even get a laugh. I know, sometimes I burst into song. I know, even surprising myself. Now, I'm going to be plugging talks, etc. Have you got a pen? Do you have a pen? Do you happen to have a piece of paper and a pen? Both would be wonderful. Could you please find it and just sit there a moment with it until I finish this? Now, as I said previously, until I'm blue in the face, my talks are full of wisdom. Yes, they are. And I'm hoping you'll take action for your own life. Otherwise, I am just entertainment. If you use it in your own life, all the better. Please listen to the podcast I put on, I think it was yesterday and the day before. Thanking you. So I'll be plugging talks and giving you a website, etc. in a moment. Hold on to that pen and your piece of paper. Now, prior to that, I'm going to give you a little couple of, they're kind of jokes that I heard recently. They're innocent, but they're full of wisdom, and they're quite funny. And I like them. The main thing is, I laugh. I laugh at my own jokes. I laugh at my own jokes. That's not easy to say. Now, they're very innocent, but quite funny. As I said, okay, get on with it. I'm getting on with it. Thank you. A man entered a church, and he said to the minister, "Could you please pray for my hearing?" And before he managed to say anything else, the minister leaned over and put both of his hands over the man's ears. And he held his hands there for about 2 or 3 minutes. And then he removed his hands and he said, "Can you hear better now?" "No, what's your hearing like now?" And the man said, "I don't know. It's not until tomorrow. It's a court hearing." Did you think that's where I was going? I didn't even know that's where I was going. Another little one. There's a little boy and he's out in the garden. And a man looks out and he's thinking, the neighbour looks out and he's thinking, "Look, what's wrong with little Johnny? He's looking awful sad." So the neighbour goes out and he says, "What's wrong?" And the little boy said, "I've just buried my goldfish." And the man said, "Oh no, that's awful sad." And the neighbour said, "But Johnny, that's an awful big hole just for a goldfish." And he says, "Well, I know, it's got to be that size. It's inside your cat." Listen, it doesn't have to be outrageous. I'm just visual, so I can visualise that. I thought that was quite funny, that. Now, you'll be pleased to hear this is my last joke for today. My last joke for today. Very innocent, but funny. A teacher is standing in front of her classroom. You know, in the primary school, I love that, with the standard of my joke. It was a primary school. And the teacher said to the children, "If I sold my house, would I get to heaven?" And they said, "No." They did. And the teacher said, "If I sold my house and my car, would I get to heaven?" And they went, "No." So she said, "Well, if I gave all my money to the church, would I get to heaven?" "No." So the teacher thought, goodness sake. So the teacher said, "Well, what do you have to do to get to heaven?" And a little boy at the back shouted, "You have to be dead first." That's it. That is it. Thank you for listening. Have you got a pen? Did you get a pen? Thank you. Now, could you write this down? www.speakout.uk, and in the search bar put Valerie McLennan. That's my name. Valerie McLennan. In the search bar, www.speakout.uk. It'll give you some biog, it'll tell you who I am, explain the past, etc. and the present, because I am and I will be in 2026 offering talks regarding spirituality. I may, if you're lucky, include a joke or two, but the wisdom will be there. It'll be regarding your mind, your body, your spirit. And as we all know, well, I'll speak for myself. I don't really speak for everyone in the world. I'll generalise and I will actually speak for myself. I think many are aware, like in regarding spirituality, wherever it is, I don't focus personally on one particular religion, as you can hear and as you can see. It's spiritual, it's all-encompassing, it's regarding how we survive on earth, how we get through earth, trying to keep ourselves as sane as possible, facing all of the challenges that will come along. So it's all-encompassing, and it's really just trying to keep ourselves on the best path, trying to get us through. I share stories, I try and make you laugh, my hope is that you'll see yourself in some of my stories along the way. Now, the other thing, I've had conversations recently, and you've heard on the media, people talking about etc. And many of the churches are greatly reduced in numbers. And I'm not saying anything that's earth-shattering. People know there's not many in the churches. They seem to be, there's not whatever they're looking for, they're not finding. Not everyone, I'm generalising. Many of the churches are struggling to get people in along the line, etc. Now, the talks that I'm giving, as you can see, it's kind of spiritual and it's wisdom, but it's not in any fixed religion, because people I've had conversations with over the years, they're just not really getting engaged that way. They're not finding what they're looking for, and they're looking for something different, delivered, the same message, same point, but getting it across in a way that people can enjoy or listen to, etc. Now, this is the point of my channel that I started, I can't believe it's 2 years ago. Can you? Feels longer to us. Well, that's just charming, isn't it? I give all this on here. Compliment. Do I get a compliment? No. Do you give me a compliment? No. I know. My point being, I'm offering this in a very different way, but it's covering the exact same points. It's regarding keeping your mind, focusing on what I personally believe are the spiritual laws and what gets you through. There's no point in learning different things, in my opinion, kind of parrot fashion, where you're learning different kind of, if you're doing it in a very, and even to call it like an academic way, if you're doing it that way, you're not getting the emotion, you're not getting the understanding, you're not feeling it. I believe many of the speakers nowadays that's doing very well, or they have come through the rocky roads and they're speaking from their heart. I am not remotely textbook. If you have me for a talk anywhere that I'm booked, there won't be there won't be any kind of notes. There won't be, oh, you are joking. Well, it'll be rubbish. It won't be rubbish. If I forget where I'm going, you just need to wait till I remind myself where I am. I speak from my experiences in life. I will speak from everything I believe, what I've learned along the way. I don't personally, and I stress this every time, because I don't want anyone booking me for a talk expecting a formal speaker, someone that's going to be standing, doing anything, in any type of formal way. I'm very relaxed. The way you hear me speaking now is the way I'll be speaking on the day. And I stress that because there's so many formal speakers. There's so many people that deliver what I do in a very scientific way, and they kind of break it down into this, the basic science of it. I don't do that either. I just do it from what I've always believed, what I always learned. And as I keep saying, until I take my last gasp on earth, I won't know if I was right or wrong, and neither will you. So we can only share. There's no point in anyone teaching this and being adamant that they're right. We're the only one that's right on this planet. We can learn from each other. Surely we can learn, we can talk, and we can kind of grow together. I listen to other people speaking. Some I find that, I maybe gel with more than others, but then other people will be the same with me. It depends on what you're looking for, what you're finding in life. But I started this 2 years ago because the world, not the entire world, many are craving, and they've told me they're craving something, but they are kind of moving away from the way it's always been. I'm trying to be very discreet. Many people that I've come into contact over the years have moved away from the very formal way of teaching different things over the years, different religions, different people, but they're still soul searching, because just personally, I find the world, everyone wants to be understood. Generalising, I have to be so careful. People tend to want to be understood. If you're going through a tough time, generally people would like empathy. People would like to think that people understand what they're going through, and they're not just giving kind of lip service, trying to say the words and not feeling or compassionate about the situation. So if you think whatever you would look for in those situations, if most of the majority of people are the same, even people that are doing the work that I'm doing, it's not all one-way traffic. People do. We're human beings on planet Earth trying to get through life, as I said, as unscathed as possible. All I ask for, as I said, keep repeating on here, is that you've got an open mind and that you're willing to listen and then make your mind up. But there's so many people they don't know, they're not aware of this, the kind of talks that I give, or the spirituality, or the way I break it down. Many have said they found it informative. Many people have said they never even thought about it that way. And when I've said it, they thought, like the penny dropped, they thought, goodness sake, because they were so used to being taught it in a different style or a different way. And so if you find it that you're listening and you're finding that you're enjoying it, obviously kind of live talks, I go into more depth and I go into more kind of my real understanding of it. On a podcast, you're just getting glimpses, because I've only got 15 minutes on each one. So you're getting a little insight here, a little insight there. Obviously on a talk, it would be different, and it would be more or less kind of tailored into the audience, because everyone is different on planet Earth. And this is something else I notice when people are speaking or they're teaching anything spiritual. Some people don't read the room. Do you know what I mean? They don't read the room, and they don't look who it is that they're talking to. Every audience, if you want to give it that label, every audience is different. People's needs are different. If you just do a script and you're hoping that that's going to land in every ear the exact same way, good luck. Good luck. Because the people, you really have to, as I said, read the room, see who you're talking to, and work it that way. Everyone has different needs. People will be looking for different things. So if you're just a scripted, I've met many over the years who are very, very scripted. And you can see, I've been doing this a long time now, and I can see at a glance who's switched on and who's listening and who's switched right off, if it's not touching, if it's not getting to them. So the important part is obviously being aware who you're talking to. That helps, call me old-fashioned. And being aware of general needs. You can't really just do an all-over blanket script hoping it's going to be of interest, or each and every human being listening is gaining from your talk. That's just my opinion. You've got to be more careful. It's not something you can just do off the cuff. It's something that needs planning. It's something that you need to really, really consider the people and the needs of individuals. And as I said, I get different people of different ages listening to mine, or that know the work I've been doing, and talk, and I have conversations with them. I get feedback from them, some of them do kind of the laugh in between, but they also enjoy the kind of content in it. As I said, the biggest compliment for me, in all honesty, is not really people that's been on this path for a long, long time. It's people who have not really considered this, or they've not understood it. And in the very basic way that I'm delivering this, they're getting something from it. That's the biggest compliment I can have. Because then, as that saying goes, my work here is done. Because if I'm reaching people who have not even been aware of this or not thought about it, and they've been drowning in their own mind through fear and panic and anxiety, in depression, some people, they didn't even realise there was some way of, their mind. Obviously, most people, or everyone on earth, they'll know, they'll hear like mind management, mindfulness, all of that stuff. That's not what I'm doing. That's very, very credible work, and it's all very good. It's just not what I'm doing, and the people that are delivering that won't be delivering what I'm doing. So there is a crossover, but that's not where I am. Don't come along thinking it's kind of mindfulness for me. It is working in your mind and making you realise the importance of actually focusing on your strength and your power. There are too many, in my opinion, especially since the pandemic, all different ages, who are focusing on their weaknesses and fear. And they've completely forgotten, or they've never really been aware, that they have an inner strength that is there, that will get them through every challenge they have to face on earth. Because whatever is, life has been in their way, all the challenges, it's chipped away and chipped away and chipped away until, they've spoken to me and they've said, inwardly they feel very weak, or they just feel, life has really kind of beaten them emotionally. So you can imagine, if I'm speaking to people like that, the compliment it is for me when they say that they're getting something from listening, to the podcast along with the laugh, but they're getting something that's making them think. That's all I ask you to do. Listen and think, and if it helps you, but it won't help you unless you use it yourself. This is the catch. You have got to take the action and put all the tools into your own life. Now, thanking you, I just wanted to mention, because next year, 2026, is only a few weeks away, and I will be pushing this like never before. So, if it's something you're interested in, keep listening. Look at that website. I'll give you some background to whom I am, www.speakout.uk. If you could like and subscribe my channel, it'd be wonderful. It's free to subscribe, for any sake. And all it means is, obviously, YouTube will start to kind of move and more people will see what I'm trying to do. That's it. Thank you for listening. I hope you like my little jokes. I thought they were quite funny. Very innocent, but the innocent jokes are the best. Thank you for listening. Look at the website. Tell your friends, get people listening to me. Come on, help me on my way. Thank you. And then when people are coming to the talks and you might be there, etc., you can say, I was part of that. I helped her. I helped promote. I helped subscribe. I liked, and I told people, and I helped her on her journey on planet Earth. Well, there you are. Look who my boss is. Look who you'll be pleasing. Thank you. Take care of each other. Bye for now.